The first thing everyone noticed about Lina was how quiet she was. She moved through the marble halls of the Hartwell Tower like a soft breeze no one bothered to chase. Every morning before sunrise, she tied her dark hair into a neat knot, slipped into her pale blue uniform, and began polishing surfaces that already gleamed. She dusted awards no one read anymore. She watered plants no one remembered to name. She straightened chairs left crooked by executives who never noticed. To most people in the building, she was invisible. And Lina preferred it that way. After all, invisibility was safe. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more romantic stories. On a rainy Tuesday morning, the elevators malfunctioned. It wasn't dramatic, just inconvenient enough to annoy half the executives on the top floors. Lina had been sent upstairs with fresh files from administration, balancing them carefully against her hip as she climbed the emergency staircase. She pushed open the door to the executive floor, breathless, and walked straight into someone. The files scattered like startled birds. "Oh, I'm so sorry," she began, crouching immediately to gather them. A deep voice answered gently, "No, that was my fault." A pair of polished shoes stopped beside her. Then long fingers joined hers on the floor, picking up documents one by one. She froze. Employees didn't kneel on executive carpets. Executives certainly didn't kneel beside maids. "I should have watched where I was going," he said. When she finally looked up, she nearly forgot how to breathe. Daniel Hart. Everyone knew him. CEO. Founder's son. The man whose face appeared in business magazines displayed proudly in the lobby downstairs. Up close, he looked younger than the photographs suggested. Less sharp. Almost tired. He handed her the last file. "There," he said with a small smile. "Thank you, sir." She stood quickly, clutching the folders like a shield. He noticed the way she avoided eye contact. Most people leaned closer when speaking to him. She leaned away. "You work here?" he asked. The question slipped out before he could stop himself. Her brows lifted slightly. "Yes, sir." Of course she worked there. She was wearing a uniform. He almost laughed at himself. "I mean, I haven't seen you before." "I work early mornings," she said simply. That explained it. Daniel rarely arrived before 9. "Well," he said awkwardly, stepping aside, "thank you for rescuing our staircase crisis." She blinked. Then, unexpectedly, she smiled. It wasn't a grand smile. Just a small one. But it lingered with him long after she disappeared down the hall. He noticed her again 2 days later. And then again the following week. Once you noticed Lina, it became strangely difficult not to. She hummed quietly while watering the plants near the conference rooms. She read books during her lunch break instead of scrolling through her phone. She laughed softly with the elderly security guard near the entrance as though he were family. She never lingered where executives gathered. Never interrupted conversations. Never asked for anything. Daniel found himself arriving earlier without admitting why. One morning, he discovered her asleep. She sat in a chair by the tall windows overlooking the city, sunlight warming her face. A novel rested open on her lap. Her head tilted slightly to one side. She looked peaceful. Not like someone inside a building obsessed with deadlines and profits. He should have walked away. Instead, he stood there longer than he meant to. She stirred suddenly. Her eyes opened. And widened immediately when she saw him. "I'm sorry," she said, standing so fast the book nearly fell. "I finished cleaning and It's fine," he interrupted quickly. She looked mortified. "I won't do it again." "You don't have to apologize for sitting down." Her surprise softened her expression. He hesitated. "What are you reading?" She glanced at the book like it might betray her. Just a romance novel. Just, he echoed. She shrugged shyly. People think they're silly. Daniel folded his arms thoughtfully. I run a company worth millions, he said. And I watch cooking shows every night. Her laughter escaped before she could stop it. It filled the quiet floor. Something warm settled in his chest. From then on, conversations began accidentally. Short ones at first. About books. About coffee. About why she preferred early mornings. She told him she liked the silence before everyone arrived. He admitted he sometimes wished the world paused more often. Weeks passed. Somehow, their conversations grew longer. He learned she sent most of her pay home to support her younger siblings. She learned he hated formal dinners and secretly enjoyed street food more than luxury restaurants. One evening, rain trapped them both inside after hours. The staff had gone. The lights dimmed automatically. Daniel found her struggling with a stubborn vending machine. He pressed the button once. The snack dropped immediately. She stared at him accusingly. You have executive privileges even with machines? He grinned. They sat together near the windows eating chocolate bars while lightning flickered far away beyond the glass. He forgot meetings. Forgot emails. Forgot expectations. She forgot he was her employer. For the first time in years, Daniel felt uncomplicated. Rumors began slowly. Executives noticed the CEO lingering near housekeeping schedules. Assistants noticed coffee orders doubling. Someone claimed they saw him carrying cleaning supplies once. That rumor was quickly denied. Lina heard whispers too. She began keeping distance. Shorter answers. Polite smiles. No more laughter. Daniel noticed immediately. Did I do something wrong? He asked one morning when she tried to leave after a brief greeting. Her hands tightened around her cart. No, sir. There it was again. Sir. I thought we agreed you'd stop calling me that. Her gaze dropped. People are talking. He sighed. People always talk. It's different for you, she said quietly. He opened his mouth to argue. Then closed it again. Because she was right. He would always be the CEO. She would always be. Only the maid. The words stung more than he expected. Days passed without conversation. The building felt colder. Work felt heavier. Until one Friday evening. Daniel received a letter on his desk. A resignation notice. Short. Neat. Signed in careful handwriting. Lina Reyes. He stood so abruptly his chair slammed into the wall. He found her in the lobby just as she handed in her badge. You're leaving? He asked, breathless. She turned slowly. Her eyes shimmered but her smile remained gentle. It's better this way. For who? For everyone. That's not an answer. She hesitated. I don't belong here anymore. The words landed between them. He stepped closer. You belong wherever you choose to be. Her composure cracked slightly. That's easy for you to say. No, he said softly. It isn't. Silence stretched. People passed around them without noticing. Invisible again. I got another job, she said finally. A small bookstore. He imagined her surrounded by novels and sunlight. And hated how right it sounded. When do you start? Monday. That was 3 days away. Too soon. He reached into his pocket without thinking. Pulled out something small. A silver key. She stared at it. It's for the rooftop garden, he said quietly. No one goes there except me. Her confusion deepened. Why are you giving it to me? Because, he said, voice unsteady despite himself, there's something I should have said weeks ago. Her breath caught. The lobby doors opened behind her. Evening light poured inside. Cars waited outside. A new life waiting too. She looked at the key. Then at him. Then back at the doors. I can't stay long, she whispered. That's okay. Her fingers slowly reached forward. They brushed his as she took the key. Warm. Soft. Dangerously familiar. She hesitated. Tonight? She asked. Daniel swallowed. Yes. She nodded once. Then turned and walked out into the fading sunlight. The glass doors closed between them. Daniel stood there long after she disappeared into the crowd, heart pounding with words he had never said aloud before. Upstairs, the rooftop garden waited. Night slowly crept over the city. And as the clock neared 8, the elevator doors finally opened behind him. He turned. And froze. Because the person stepping out wasn't dressed like a bookstore employee at all. And Lina wasn't alone. The elevator doors slid open with a quiet chime. Daniel's heart, already restless from waiting, stumbled somewhere between relief and confusion. Lina stepped out first. But she wasn't wearing her pale blue uniform. Gone were the simple flats and tied-back hair. Tonight she wore a soft cream dress that moved gently around her ankles as she walked, her dark hair loose over her shoulders. She looked different. Not transformed into someone else, but revealed, as though the version he knew had only ever been half of her. For a moment, he forgot how to breathe. Then he noticed the man walking beside her. Older. Well-dressed. Gray at the temples, carrying himself with quiet confidence. Daniel straightened instinctively. Something unfamiliar twisted in his chest. Jealousy. Lina spotted him first. Her steps slowed. Mr. Hart, Daniel, she corrected softly. The way she said his name almost dissolved the tension in his shoulders. Almost. The older man followed her gaze and smiled politely. You must be the famous CEO, he said warmly, extending a hand. Daniel shook it automatically. I suppose that depends on who's asking. Eduardo Reyes, the man replied. Lina's uncle. The tightness in Daniel's chest loosened instantly. Uncle. Not a fiancé. Not a boyfriend. He nearly laughed at himself. I hope you don't mind, Lina said quickly, sensing the awkwardness. He insisted on walking me upstairs. He worries. Eduardo nodded unapologetically. She works too hard and trusts people too easily. Daniel almost protested that he was not dangerous in any imaginable way, but instead he said carefully, You're welcome here. Eduardo studied him for a moment longer. Not suspiciously. Just, thoughtfully. Then he smiled again. Well, I won't interrupt whatever conversation brought her here tonight. He turned to Lina. I'll wait downstairs. You don't have to. I do, he said gently. Family tradition. He squeezed her shoulder and walked back toward the elevator. Before the doors closed, he glanced once more at Daniel. A silent message passed between them. Take care of her. Then he was gone. The rooftop garden fell quiet again. Soft lights glowed along the stone paths. Roses climbed wooden arches. The city stretched endlessly beyond the railing, Lagos shimmering beneath warm evening air and distant music drifting from somewhere far below. Lina stepped forward slowly. I wasn't sure you'd still be here, she admitted. I wasn't sure you'd come. She held up the silver key. I almost didn't. His stomach tightened. But you did. She nodded. They stood awkwardly for a moment, neither sure where to begin. Daniel gestured toward a bench surrounded by jasmine vines. Sit with me? She hesitated only briefly before agreeing. The bench was close enough that their shoulders nearly touched. Neither moved away. I like this place, she said after a moment. I built it, he admitted. Her eyes widened. You? It used to be empty storage space, he explained. I wanted somewhere quiet. She smiled faintly. That makes sense. The wind lifted a strand of her hair across her cheek. Without thinking, Daniel reached out. Then stopped himself halfway. She noticed. Slowly, deliberately, she brushed the hair aside herself. His pulse betrayed him anyway. I read your resignation letter, he said quietly. Her gaze dropped to her hands. I meant every word. That you don't belong here? Yes. He leaned forward slightly. Then why are you here tonight? Silence stretched between them. Finally she whispered, because leaving without hearing what you wanted to say felt unfinished. He exhaled slowly. Honesty suddenly felt terrifying. I tried to convince myself not to say it, he admitted. 4 weeks. That sounds serious. It is. She looked at him then. Really looked. No uniforms. No titles. Just 2 people sitting beneath soft lights and distant stars. When you stopped talking to me, he continued, voice low, the building felt wrong. Her breath caught. I kept arriving early expecting to see you arguing with the coffee machine. She almost laughed. And when your letter came, he added, I realized I don't want a version of this place where you aren't in it. Her eyes shimmered. Daniel. I know I'm your employer, he said quickly. I know people talk. I know it's complicated. He hesitated. Then chose truth anyway. But somewhere between conversations about books and chocolate bars during thunderstorms. I stopped seeing you as the maid everyone else sees. She swallowed hard. And what do you see now? She asked softly. He turned toward her completely. You. The word settled between them like something fragile. She looked shaken by it. You barely know me. I know you read until you fall asleep. Her lips parted. You give half your lunch away to the security guard. Her eyes widened. You hum when you're nervous. A tear escaped before she could stop it. And, he said gently, you were willing to leave a place you loved because you thought it would protect me. Her voice trembled. You're important to a lot of people. So are you. The city wind moved around them. She laughed weakly through tears. This is unfair. How? You're saying things I've been trying not to feel. Hope flickered painfully inside him. Lina. I looked forward to seeing you every morning, she confessed suddenly. His heart slammed. And when people started whispering, she continued, I realized I cared too much about what happened to you if they were right. He leaned closer. Were they? She stared at him. Terrified. Honest. Yes. The word barely existed. He smiled then. Not the confident CEO smile. Something softer. Relieved. His hand moved slowly across the bench. He didn't touch her. Just waited. An invitation. Her fingers trembled before sliding into his. Warm. Certain. The world seemed to pause. I don't know what happens next, she whispered. Neither do I. That should scare me. Does it? She shook her head. No. They sat there watching city lights flicker alive beneath them. Minutes passed. Or maybe hours. Neither noticed.